Mic test, mic test. I think we're good. I will be right back. I just got to get some water and, just have everyone trickle in here. We'll be working on something new. So we'll just kind of enjoy a fish. Be right back. Yeah. Righty. Let's get started here. We've got plenty to do. Plenty to do. Uh, let's do this thing. I got a new haircut. I got a new assignment at work that has kept me away from my one true love, game dev. Goodbye, fishy. Gotta make sure the fishies. So we coded up this prototype for like a game jam. So we're just having fun. We're gonna make a fishing game for our viewers to enjoy. Yeah, same guy, different haircut. Oh my god, I got one on the line. Oh my god, no, what the fuck? He's getting away. Oh, he's on the land? Go back here. Beautiful. Beautiful fishy. Yeah, no, same guy, slightly different haircut. It was just too much hair, let's be real. And now it's summertime, so we're just... Oh my god. Wait, you didn't recognize me? Like, you think it's two different people? You thought there's a different... You're just like, oh, I don't know. This person, I don't... Who's this person talking to me? I should have kept the same haircut. I should have gone on stream more often. No, you knew it was me. Yeah, I recognized you. So yeah, of course. Like, I didn't change completely. I didn't possess a completely different body or skill set or manner of speaking. So it should be pretty easy to figure out. Yes, it was a game jam. I had a fun time with a local group. We kind of did a little thing called a cabin jam where we all got together for the weekend. It was a really good time to concentrate and meet people and kind of socialize, as well as like cook some good food and just hang out. And part of it was that the theme was crab and jam, and I do need to get a crab in here. You know, I might be a little late, but you know, a little crab walking around under the water would be nice to have. So I don't think I really met the theme that well, but there were some fishing games around. I was trying, just didn't have time for that actual crab, so that's one thing I failed to note. So we'll do that, and we're gonna rework this fishing rod a lot. Like in terms of the code, we're gonna. I almost feel like it was an offline jam. It was an in-person jam that I attended over the weekend. It's very refreshing, and one of the reasons I'm jumping back into streaming is because the jam was so much fun and kind of recharged my juices a little bit, even though I'm on late here, and I've been doing a lot of corporate work. I do want to get this new stuff out to everybody eventually, because I have so much kind of in the pipeline that I just kind of gotta make a little bit of progress every once in a bit. So tasks we need to do here. Let's think. We need to probably just move to a completely new prototype, as much as that's difficult. Yeah, President IRL is underrated. Yeah, I mean, I'm lucky to have a nice group that's close enough I can attend. A lot of stuff is still online, but it just recharges, and you get to work with a team, you get to bounce ideas and that sort of thing, and it's always really good when I get to do a jam. And it was cool seeing there was some really, really cool games, very creative people. I made this game in 2 days. Not really. The parts that I made were partially recycled from other prototypes. So I made the map from scratch. That's true. I wired up the fishies, made the fish work, that sort of thing. I did not make the assets. I was a solo on this particular jam because I had some other responsibilities too, so I couldn't like really join a proper team. I didn't sign up for team joining. And then I reused our Godot State Machine 3D third person character controller. So yeah, there was a lot of reuse here, but I did do some pretty unique stuff in terms of planning for the stream future. Because one thing we're going to have here is the ability to drop into games in terms of mini games, scenes that we'll be able to host for our viewers. Mostly fishing for now, but when we host a game and we join a game, what am I on? Did I really open 4.7? I'd prefer not to open 4.7. But when we join a game with 2 or more or as many viewers as there are, you can see that they are all synced up. We've got a fish. I can slap my buddy with a fish. And now the really cool part I was alluding to is that this is not the only game we can play. We're going to have a Mario Party-like system where we're going to have mini games. So you can see this FriendGem admin panel. I have this other level that we can load. That's pretty cool because that cleans up all the other stuff in terms of the map. And it will be on web. That's something we might do tonight, is get this published to web so that people here can test it. That's definitely something we want to do. But the idea is that we'll be able to jump back and forth. This could be like an arena or something where we could fight instead of fish, right? Or another type of Mario Party type game, like Bumper Balls was one that's been floated a couple times. We do have the ability to tell everybody to ragdoll and like collide with each other. I don't know if we have, yeah, we don't have player collision on. Look, I go right through this person. It's funny, I can pick this guy up when I'm in a ragdoll position. So we're gonna start. Yeah, we'll have a public server. The way that these servers work is they're very lightweight. There's nothing to be worried about on that end. I've got all that covered. But the cool part is that when we're done over here, we can go right back to fishing or any number of other cool game types. Yeah, we've got some issues here with this. I think we might want to clean up everything. Yeah. I will use WebRTC, yes. We use a combination of WebRTC and WebSockets, that's right. So you're on to the right idea. So we use WebRTC for the actual gameplay, and currently the one you see is on eNet, so we need to convert it over. We do want to do that, but the WebSockets are a excuse me, a lobby server. WebSockets are simple. We'll end up hard coding that so that people don't have to really join. There'll be only one server for us to host, and that'll be mine, because this will be for me and my chat. And as we, develop it, we'll split it off and create tutorials out of it. So I'm going to open up some Friend Jim fishing. Let's say friend Jim architecture. Okay. So this is a big category. Let's see if we can do the checklist here. Is this H2? If someone could just create a decent way to like edit text, I'd be very eternally thankful here. Okay. Friend Jim fishing. We need to I have a pickup component. I can recommend Obsidian. Yeah, I've tried Obsidian. That is pretty good. You're right. That's not bad at all. I'm like such a noob when it comes to Obsidian because people know how to use it so powerfully, and I just kind of just treat it as a notepad. The other one I kind of actually do like is IA Writer, and it's funny because the name is IA Writer, and now we have AI. But this is a information architects writer. This has been around for a long time, but and you can enter focus mode, and I don't know. It's funny. Slop ops. What am I writing here? Can you preview this? I think there we go. Slop ops. We're not going to get into the AI thing now. What if we do it here? Let's do friend gem planning doc. Can you do this? Didn't seem to like the checklist thing. Text edit, haha, yeah, classic. I don't think I should worry. I think Google Docs is serving pretty well here. So what we need to do is we want to take the best parts of this prototype. It's really in a state where it's grown under its own weight. And the one thing that does intrigue me a lot is the ability to change scenes with cleaning everything up and telling which game master and level loader. So this is an interesting function. So I'm going to zoom out here. It might not be super easy to see, but spawn level. Yeah, I like Markdown as well. We can do to-do lists, yeah, with the dot bracket, but clears any existing level geometry and spawns the level associated with param key. I'm borrowing this function, and we think that it might be possible to just take this level loader into our other more practiced prototypes. How frequently do you check if the level has been loaded? In seconds. Wait interval. That's nice. Level dict. I like this. And I like that they use straight up UUID. That's cool. Current key. So how does this work? We do a couple of things. Multiplayer peer connected, on peer connected. When a peer joins, the host shares the level key so the joining peer can spawn the correct level. Spawn level, RPC. So whenever on peer connected, if I am the server, I tell them. Tried using WebSockets for my game. Web build is just to connect to use the server, and that's it. Had issues because only TCP and network buffer overload and the tabs not function. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Good point. So yeah, a lot of my tutorials focus on WebRTC, which is slightly more real time. But when the tab is not focused, I know that you may have issues regardless. I don't know how to get around that in the browser. That is a browser thing. There might be some way we can put it on the background thread or something like that. But let's give it a quick test here on our sample here, because that is a point of curiosity. And Andrew P will be mad at me because I always go on a detour here, but you know, that is life. It's also an interesting question because So we see that we're starting to get populated with these targets, and they're here. But what happens if I put this into this tab? And then I walk in front of this guy. Okay. I don't think this is a good test yet. I'm trying to think, how do I test this? Because I've seen an issue where now if someone joins, maybe they don't get... Because as soon as I focus it... Oh! He's floating in the air. Oh, there we go. So there we go. We've proven the issue. His physics is not currently running when he's not focused. So I jumped and tabbed over, and then I land. And now I land. So if I jump and tab over, I am suspended in midair. And anything theoretically... Oh, wow. Interesting. I can't even shoot if the host isn't processing. I can't even shoot. I'm dropping data. The buffer is full. Look at that. This is why we stream, so that we learn stuff like this. So Chasey is going to get back to me. They're going to find me on my socials, and they're going to tell me exactly how to fix this. Right? We're going to solve this issue. I think there's a way we can flag our... Let's just do a quick Google. There might be something we can do. itch.io process in background game. It's in the game process. You don't need to inject it. Just a big background process is way of design. The fuck is going on there? As far as I know, it's related to how Godot works, so it's different than pure web games. Network and rendering are on the same process in Godot. They're frozen when the tab is not focused. Yeah. Do we know if there's a workaround? Back itch.io process in focus unfocused tab. Itch. I don't have a temporary solution now. I'm sure there's temporary solutions, but there is one thing that we could potentially do is that when we export our project, we could choose to export with the thread thingy. So in the HTML thread, we have thread support. This will do the, we never know. But then we don't use threads currently in the project. So even though we've enabled thread support, we would have to then put something into threads, maybe. This is an unknown territory sort of thing where, yeah, anyone tabs out, they might as well. It's bad. What can we think about? What can we do? You can increase the buffer size, but only delay the buffer full error. So basically, it'll help out if there's a temporary tab out. But in this case, where we're completely full, whoa, all the balls just got spawned all at once when I tabbed in. So if I click a whole bunch and I just move around and I throw a bunch of, I'm just like sending all of these, and then I tab back over. Oh, I just got hit with balls. So I'll do that again. Yeah. I mean, that's just the limitation of how these browser games are functioning. I don't know that I'm going to be able to. That's definitely a weakness. I will say that is a weakness of the system. What could we reason about in terms of that being good or bad or I don't know. That's a good thing. I mean, I knew that was the case. I thought it was fun to test at least. Okay. This whole set joinable thing is cool, interesting. It's also nice to have kicked the ban list. How do we... What is a get UUID? It generates virtues unique to the peer chip, and this uses a particular backend distinguishes. So does each backend have to do this one? UUID is IP or MAC address. For some reason, I just returned. I'm gonna print this when we join. This might just be what, local host. Yeah, 19. I recognize that one. 192.168. Clear. Spoiler alert. Yeah, so I do like the Game Master. I do like the multiplayer spawner that has just fish and shit in it. The question is, do I continue to work within this project, which is, it's not too much trouble. I think I do. Add fish, huh? I think we could do better than that. So we don't have access to the Game Master versus the multiplayer service. It's the only thing we have in the global. So I'm kind of muttering a little bit about our internals, so I can make a plan here. So determine if we use the same repo or start a new project from scratch. This is a tough one. That's a tough one. We did a shit ton of work with this Godot plush. Clean up the dust effects. Let's have some good UI with the throwing and stuff. solve the penetration tunneling issue for our physics objects. That's a big one. We got to solve that. Add the chatters as fish. Friend Jim. Change the environment to feature a waterfall and and cliffs, steep cliffs, perhaps less square and more long. I'm pretty sure I have Miro, and I'm already in Miro, but whatever. Try not to leak too much here. I'm being blinded. Help. I'm thinking something like this, where this is the water. I should use blue, right? Little rock there. You guys see what I'm doing. Maybe this needs to be even taller, like that. It's like Ocarina of Time style, you know? I can go smaller like this, right? Even smaller. Is that, yeah, there we go. Yeah, I'm kind of just planning my new environment. So the way this works is these are rocks up here, and there's like kind of stuff to jump around, and then this is like the extent of the map, right? And then it comes around and it kind of creates a bowl like this where we can have our players kind of just hang around, mostly in this area, right? And so then when we get green, and this is all land and a rock or whatever. We have trees, of course, you know, a couple of trees. Okay, that's a bad color for a tree, but you get the idea. And, you know, I'm just kind of making, I'm just kind of planning for the future. And then we need like a little, like a shack or something where they can turn in their fish. You know, like in the wall. We'll build it into the wall. Um, Fish. Okay, that's a terrible fucking color. Let's try that again. Having too much fun. Let's do it like this. Let's do it like that. Fish. Okay, let's try it one more time. You know, you can come to the window. And it's kind of built into the wall, you know, it's like gray. Make these rocks. Okay, so the plan is to have like a kind of a bowl, like it might be more longer this way too. Maybe this, you know. But yeah, what will be the main loop for this game? It's mostly a place to just hang out. And the loop is fishing. And then we can just kind of gather. There's just like these little silly blobs, little silly guys just kind of, you know, swimming around. And maybe there's a yellow one. That's a terrible color. Like a cyan. And we're gonna outfit everybody with a little blob, and maybe they can customize their little Godot guy, you know, that sort of thing. And then he's got a fishing rod. And you're catching fish, of course. And each chatter who falls into the lake, who ends up coming here, is gonna be a. Yeah, you can sell fish and buy some skins. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so you can decorate your guy if you have. That's perfect. That's exactly what I'm saying. And it'll just be like a little currency that we track in a database. And you can kind of walk around and be goofy and play with the physics. We'll have like a basketball hoop over here. Because why not? Okay, it's a pretty fucking weird basketball hoop, but you know, a lot of stuff you can throw into the hoop. You can throw fish into the hoop. And yeah, it's not far off from what we've got in this fishing game. There are some challenges because right now my fishing game is completely physics based, which is not how a lot of a lot of fishing games work. As you could, you know, when you have a fishing game, you kind of don't have a fish that's like rolling around and oh my god, there's a fish on the line. That's kind of like chasing you. You kind of have to do like an input mini game, and so we might need to switch to that model. But once the fish are out of the water, we can have like the actual catching of the fish is also like based on the distance that this bobber is. So when we reel it in, we judge how close is the fish to the end, and then right now it's having a hard time getting there, and it ends. Yeah, I think it's funny to have physics-based fish, but the actual act of catching is probably better as a mini game. So I was thinking something like timing wise, where you have to like, you know, have like a little meter, and I don't want to make it spammy, but right now it's like, okay, if he gets close enough to the whole fishing part is also physics based, which is really bad. Like you can see, it's like not really something that's controllable, which it should be. So that's part of the actual. Let's code in an actual physics machine game. So code the fishing mini game timing. So there was a game that was suggested that I look at. It's always good to do a little research here, right? And I'm not gonna jack their mechanics, but it was called Sink or Swim, and that's not it. Sink or Swim. Sinker Swim or Sinker Sound. So yeah, I think this might be it. It's like a beat. This looks cool. It's got some nice beats, lo-fi. You may find many strange features their own unique original music. You have to reel to the beat of the song. I don't understand what's going on, so I could not replicate this if I wanted to. But that is cool. It's like a... So maybe I do like the idea of having a mouse movement. Like pulling your thing to the left or right. That's something we can do. Here's your hat. Why is she flakes plant? That's cute. What is going on? This is crazy. So she's got, oh, I see. There's a line. Do you see this line coming in? That's interesting. I'll have to play this or something. I don't know, but I think there's something we can do that's a lot simpler. The other one that is Dredge. Dredge is a simple one. I think this is probably the kind of the gold standard for a fishing mini game. It's just a timing loop. Here it is, right at the beginning. So you just hit on the green dots, and they've got a variety of them. This is something I would consider jacking, I guess. QTEs, yes. Yes, that's it. Yeah, keep it simple. That's the idea. So you can see, this is probably, I just started playing this game Dredge, and it's pretty good. The only thing that's a little downside about it is that it's very, not predatory with its DLC, but it's very, like, aggressive with its DLC. So it's kind of a feels bad, like a... But they did a fine job. And it's a little asset flippy in terms of the art, but not bad. Not a bad game. Very, very clever, very low scope. Nicely done. It was a big hit. But I think a timing game, something similar. I think I can find some sort of twist to put it on. Hey, I was going to leave a comment on the video, notice the stream. Why use the same object for all authorities as opposed to a puppet object that simply mimics the object? Both are valid. So if you feel that you want to change that, I'm trying to think how my method is different because I'm curious about what video you might be referring to, but basically anything you don't have authority over and you see it on your machine is someone else's puppet object. So we already do that. I am the similar overall authorities. Yeah, we do that. I mean, the puppet objects is the only way to do it because we've got a player character. and I'm on my machine, and I have my character, and I have authority over him. As soon as somebody else comes in here, okay, I better not fuck up my project just to... Where can I put this fucking thing? Okay, let's use fish. Let's just use fish. Okay, so as soon as I have a fish, and I am the fish, I'm authority 1. If I see another fish... Okay. That's a puppet. It's owned by somebody else. Because I don't have authority over that fish. This is me. I'm the best fish. I'm moving my fish, and then I would have someone else's machine. I would have an equivalent puppet that is... This is my machine. I have got a puppet elsewhere. So yeah, we do that. We send our updates, our sync to the puppet. But that puppet object is on a different machine. Tire separate object that uses the server as a husk. Separate script, separate scene. Asking because it seems easier to manage in single player. Yeah. Okay. No, you're fine. I think it'd be hard to sync the way Godot multiplayer synchronizers work is they do require that the node path to that object be the same. Because we are using our built-in multiplayer synchronizer, and that is a choice, you don't have to do it. You could, instead of having the same root tree or the same object for both the local player and remote players, you could theoretically in your tree... I don't have a player yet. You could apply the rotations, positions, and all that stuff to some puppet object on the other machines. It would be a simplified version. The issue with that is that we, in Godot land, we look for this player in the node tree, and then we look for the synchronizer, and then we apply those properties via this multiplayer synchronizer. If you were individually sending the bits and you had to choose how to apply them, you would need to just rotate the mesh that was on that puppet, that fake object, the same way you would rotate the mesh. As my player turns, he's no longer turning himself. He's turning some other entity that's completely different. And that would require you to use a different synchronizing paradigm. Okay. Theoretically, I could be jumping, and I could apply my jump to a fish. But it's much easier to just use one player because I'm trying to match these up. But let's say if I jump on my machine, you would need to apply it to fish, if that makes sense. And you could not do that if you want to use Godot's built-ins. And Godot's built-ins are only one way to do it. They do abstract over RPCs. You could literally say RPC fish.rpc jump. Every time you say you get a packet from player. I hope that I'm trying to make sense because I absolutely understand where you're coming from, and that is a completely valid way of doing it. Or you could say husk.rpc.jump. You could totally do that. But you cannot use a multiplayer synchronizer unless you get super magical and super fucking weird. Or extend the multiplayer synchronizer or just use something different. And so yeah, your answer, short answer is we use Godot's convenient multiplayer synchronizer and spawner, so we need to have the same object there to synchronize. Hope that helped. Good question, though. Very good question. And you're thinking about it the right way. For many competitive games, we'll do that. But our tutorials are pretty simple. Yeah, I think that makes sense. Godot doesn't like it being supposed to be imbalance. Oh, no, yeah, it's totally valid. Yeah. Packets might be useful to optimize bandwidth. Yeah, so competitive games will do this because what's interesting about a competitive FPS is that they have two completely different rigs, two completely different scenes. Because like in Overwatch, you have a first person view of like your player doing hand movements and stuff and reloading and all that. A competitive FPS is going to put a puppet character on the other machines in a third person view, like with all the full like high detail model is going to be on your hands. Or Valorant, right? Those are high detail reloads and all that stuff. But the puppet character is a totally different scene with completely different full body animations. So those will be separate. And I would, yeah, definitely look into that if that is your paradigm. We do that a little bit, but we kind of just stuff everything together on one node. We actually do take that approach in part 3 of our tutorial series, so you're kind of picking up on something. I really feel like I'm so torn between like ripping all the stuff out and redoing it and just getting a super stable base, because this is not quite a stable base. Or can I refactor down and fix this thing up, because there's some nice things. Exactly. NetFox has additional tools for competitive games, network rollback, synchronizer. I have used it before. I kind of moved away from it because the games that I was making were just NetFox is not necessary, too complicated, and is just currently undergoing a big refactor that'll make it a little easier to use in the future. So I might revisit it. But rollback is just too much for most games. Okay. The band feature is probably the most appealing piece of this section here. So I'm thinking about making a FPS shooter, yeah. Haha, yeah. So if you watch part 1, definitely check out part 2, because you get a working connecting project. And then part 3 does a lot of complexity. It looks long, but it's worth it, because it'll teach you exactly what you need to know. And if your goal is to make like an FPS, it does some things that are going to be really useful. My character will have a melee weapon, but the same principle will apply in terms of having a first person mesh and a character mesh. And we even hook up like death animations and all sorts of stuff. So we use mesh to motion so that we get, I use that little Godot character, but we actually add these in part 3. So you'll figure out how to do that. And you can even ragdoll. We'll do ragdoll in part 4, which is not out. I wonder if I can re-enable this. Keep the band list going. Can I... Let's try. I mean, I want to join here. That's good. Wait, what are we fucking panicking over here? We should have a clean. Did I delete that thing? Doesn't look like it. Rock. Multiplayer spawner. Rock. Oh, these are not in the. These are fake. That's funny. Lake. Let's go to the lake. I keep doing these terrains, and I'm not very good at them, but I always have fun making in these environments, and I'm really bad at them, to be honest. Ooh, did we actually do rock? Did we do rock? Oh, we didn't add them. We added them here, but we didn't add them. God, this is one of the things I do not like about multiplayer spawner is the inability to rock and then scenes, pickups, mushroom. Yeah. Okay, that's much better. Now our no tree matches. We're good. We're happy. Let me go get a mushroom. Finish cabin jam prototype. Nah, the question is, do you fail forward or do you start clean and do I have AI do this for me? That's unappealing. Okay, that makes sense. Mm. I think we want to kill all the players each time we switch levels, so that would be a big change. I'll be right back. Refactor the. Let's put these in here. Implement a point system, turning in fish. Implement some cosmetics in a very basic. Oh, they moved to Codeberg. Shame. That's fine. It's not my repository. CD Godot examples, git clone. I think this might be in here. Phaser Knight. It's huge. Ah, he's back with new hair. What's up, T-Sac? Yes, hello, hello. Hi, Groove Genius. Good night. Good evening. We're back. We're back with a vengeance. We have been swamped at our job. Our job. So we'll put up the job text. It's me. It's me every day. Now I have hair to match. Oh my god, this repository is enormous. Thank you, Groove Genius. Yes. We are doing our best. We are doing our best. We are working on a couple of different things. We are planning out our fishing game. We have a little fishing example game. I can demo that real quick. And so this is something I coded over the weekend with at a in-person game jam. And we've kind of like redone our water. It's web compatible. We kind of made our skybox a little nicer. Some trees. Nothing's really final here. A bunch of this is assets, but we do have the ability to pick up a fish. We're using the new IK nodes that are in Godot 4.5 or 4.6? 4.6. And we're also using an IK node on this little fishing pole. And we can... Are you on a team? No, I did this solo. I mean, it's reusing a lot of my past projects, so I just kind of worked solo. I was kind of helping other people with their projects. So I kind of did the jam. I didn't do exactly the jam, but it was a big in-person event, so I was occupied in a lot of different ways. So there we go. We caught a fish. So that is kind of what we're looking at. The other cool thing is that when I join, and we're going to talk about this pretty extensively, one thing we'd like to do is be able to have our friends come with us. So if we join a different map, I can load a completely different map. We're going to clean this map up. There it goes. All the level geometry is gone. We still have our physics objects, but we are now completely swapped over something that is super desirable in terms of being able to clean up a world and drop players into another one. And then, can you join right now? No, this is not available yet, but we will have fishing. We'll have other maps available for playing with each other. That's the goal, is to have everyone in chat join soon. I promise you that that will happen. We're going to have rewards, we're going to have activities, we're going to have things to do. He's drowning. Perfect. Okay. Yeah, these are pretty annoying. The other thing we were looking at is this new project. Well, not new. Agito. There, it's done. So let's import. Good. Oh. Love the tutorial, sir. Thank you for taking the time to share your knowledge. Yes, that's what I'm here to do every day. Well, not every day, but I'll try to be a little more consistent on my stream. I'm going to be streaming more and more this week. I want to stream. I'm feeling more revitalized after the game jam, so I'm going to get on here and do what I can and get these things out to you. The tutorials will keep coming. They'll just be slightly more irregular because of the job, but that's life. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to turn on the physics and collision shapes, and we're going to check it out. Can I work with you? I don't know. Probably not right now, because you can definitely play. We're going to play the games together, but working with me is a little tough right now because of job. I keep saying that, but I've got to have a day job. It takes a lot of my time. No. We need the job. We need the job to have fun, so we can have. We need the job so we have the luxury of streaming. Debug visible collision shapes. So what I'm curious about here is essentially their strategy for targeting objects you can pick up, because there's a lot of ways to do this, and picking up objects. What the fruit? Okay. I need options. Gameplay. Invert that axis. That's crazy. They expect me to have that. Let's go bigger so our friends can see. Apply change. Okay. So that's a raycast. I believe that's a raycast. This chair contains a physics citable. Yeah, that's definitely a raycast. What's that? That's my head raycast above me? That's pretty cool. I didn't make this, but I make other games. And we'll get popular one day. I'm not worried about popularity right now. Carry. Oh, look at that. We have a rotate. How do I... I'm testing out some interaction methods here. I can throw. That's cool. The rotate does not work. Just so you guys know, it doesn't work. This is health. That's pretty cool that it has whole systems for this. That's interesting. It also has collision sounds. I like that. I don't know how they did that. What do you think they did to do that? Is that those shapes that we see? Were we able to hear that if we throw it again? That's pretty cool. Ah, the player interaction component. We have a lot of code that looks a lot like this. Is carrying, is this, is this, is this. But the key component, and I use the word component again, is that they've got this componentized so that it has interaction component, backpack component, extended pickup. Rebuild interaction prompts. Interesting. Stop carrying. So we're doing a little studying here. Get raycast tip. They have a wieldable system. That could be really interesting for me. Get camera collision. Save? What does save do? Set state. When is this called? How reasonable it is to create a multiplayer WebRTC lobby node? I don't know. I think it's fairly reasonable. It depends on if you want to use. I've done it a couple of times. It's a little wild, but it's possible. When you say web, like a lobby node, do you mean like, because I do have one available that's like not perfect, so I don't like to advertise it that much, but it has a system where we can create lobbies, have online users. You can go test this in the browser. It runs off of WebSockets. It lists lobbies. You can close lobbies, delete them, but it doesn't clean up lobbies very well, and sometimes it gets stuck in a few states. So one thing I was looking at is a few different ways to do lobbies, and it seems like people are pretty interested in lobbies. Yeah, seems the point this could be a node for the engine. Yeah. Okay, so I see what you're saying. It could be like something in the asset lab. The way I thought about doing it was extending Tube, because I reached out to Coop Myers, and the last time they updated this was basically when it was published, I think. So I'm hoping, that I could end up forking this on GitHub, because it's all open source, right? MIT, this is fine. And that way I could hook it up to my stuff and create a lobby system. Yeah. The other piece that I have done is I have done NoHub. NoHub is a lobby system from the creator of NetFox. So I have a implementation, and I have a couple of pull requests that would implement lobbies, but they have not been merged until I need all three of these merged. Multiplayer synchronizer have been godsend. Yeah, I mean, yeah, I really enjoy using multiplayer synchronizers. But yeah, this lobby system is very well developed. The other thing I could do is I could look to basically scrape by peer ID. I don't know if there's a function for that in Tube, but we could look. I'm kind of curious. Like, um, let's see. Let's close this out. The player interaction component was very fascinating there, wasn't it? There's something I wanted to do in here too, and that's just like make the on the player UI just paste the fucking lobby code in the middle of the screen. That's just better, but obviously we want 1.5 there. And then if I do this, what does it look like? It's kind of the same height. That's good. Yeah, that was a fun game. I'm felt like the first phase of a boss fight. Hey, yeah, that's kind of cool. Yeah, that we were going for. What I'm doing here is this lobby code needs to be more prominent. So I'm just making that more prominent. And then I will get to that function. Let's see if we can find that function for you for the lobby code. So, because if we can find the function, like, let's say 32, just make it huge. Fuck it. There we go. There, that's much better. The tank escort game, yeah, it had a little overlap. That's a weird one. We've got all those kind of ideas percolating around, but what we're here to look for you is essentially a scrape function. Okay, so so in tube, so if we go to our tube context, our tube client, tube checker up here. So we're looking for a way to get all of the, we have announce, send stop, sends receive packet, handle announce, handle answer, get ice, that's good, process SDP. But making multiplayer, yeah, no, I like a little bit of both. So, you know, that's what we do here. Is we make tools, we make games, we make both. And you'll see me doing that in the next couple weeks. What I'm looking for you here is a way to basically list lobbies. And once you list lobbies, it's very easy to join them. Right now, the way that we're working here is that we make a lobby code. It is listed somewhere, and I'll tell you where it's listed. It's listed on the tracker. The tracker is kind of this information you see down here. It's related, and I'm pretty sure that this code right here we could like post somewhere and then join, and that would achieve the lobby system with Tube that P2P the FPS has. The issue is that that's simply not a function in his code. Now, could it be a function in his code? Yes, it could be a function in his code. And the way we do that is with soccer lobby worker. Okay, so this is the lobby worker. Let's see what we've got here. What are these changes? Send message to lobby is missing here. What does that even do? Send message to lobby. Client socket. We didn't. This is the WebSocket lobby worker. Ah, I see what this is doing. Okay. I don't think we want to fuck with that. Appear not found. Games person message lobby. I think this removes the new message. I'm not gonna fuck with it. Sorry. We're looking for web server tracker. The tracker is a little different. The way we do that is we yarn start here. And then tube always uses the inspector. Let's see if your tracker's working. Then we need an empty project and a tracker. This will do. Dreaded Jaws, gotta go to sleep so I can do mine. Great to see you back. Yes, I'll be back, and I'll have that answer about the lobby for you. The idea here is I'm gonna do a lot of little noodling, but the first thing we do is do tube. I love tube. Tube is great. So have a good evening. We're not going to last too much longer here either, folks. We're having a blast. We know what we're doing. We're adding tube, but tube inspector right there. So now we can see select current. There it is. Create. Join. What's the session? Create. Up here, I need to have a tube context, of course. Tube client. Client, tube client. I think maybe the project settings here, globals, plugins. There we go. Boom. Context, new tube context. Boom. Tracker URLs. Guess what? Localhost, friends. HTTP. No, it's what's the server? Where is it running? Right there, baby. So this is how I put all this stuff together. This is a little peek behind the scenes, but I did every one of these steps off stream. Create, join. Oh, now we do this. Yeah. Multiplayer node. Let's reload this. Didn't like that. Multiplayer. Generate app ID. What else we need? Oh, multiplayer root node. That's just the one we're on, right? It's fine. We don't care where it is. There we go. Boom. Got it. Okay. Oh yeah, of course I need the WebRTC folder. Easy. Open file manager. Boom. I didn't know that it needed that. Well, yeah, of course I knew that it needed that. There, we've got a signaling. We did it. We're connected. And I think I can prove that. Where's the chat? We go here. One. There it is. Fuck yeah. We should use their chat, you know. That could be fine. That would be nice, yeah. I don't have to do my own chat, but then... Okay, so how do I get a lobby out of this, friends? How do I get a lobby? Okay. The way we get a lobby... Oh, shit. One of the things about these servers is that... Are they ephemeral? No, because this one's still connected. Okay, good. Yeah, so he's local signal, but he's offline. That makes sense. Now, what we want to do is look at our code here. And we might need to ask AI, as much as I hate fucking doing that. This code is a little bit of a mystery in terms of the scrape command. On scrape. So I can make any sort of scrape here. Send. This is great. This is good. We're not gonna panic. There it is. Let's go to the inspector code too. Send announce. Here we go. Let's make a new. Shit. Okay, we're making mistakes here, everyone. ls-a. There's a get ignore here. That's good. So do that. rm rf borrow. First test of borrow WebRTC. Okay. Why do we do that? because we want to see the diff. In this case, the diff is going to be in the tube tracker function here, send announce. What I want is send scrape. Action, scrape. Info hash, peer ID. I don't know. Sure, whatever. And what happens then? What happens then is the big question. So if I have a new button in the tube inspector, join create, yeah, those are nice buttons, but what about a new button? Right there. And this one will not have that. Disconnect. Scrape. Let's see, what was this in scrape, right? Tube inspector dot tube tracker on client trace. It's pretty simple. Where's the tracker? Is the tracker on here? Tube tracker. X tracker initiated tracker client trackers. Tracker control. What's that mean? How does the create work? Client create. Client. We do add uncontrolled tracker initiated. Tracker failed. Tracker. I don't know. Trackers. The info. Let's just see how send announce works, I guess, right? How does that work? P.tracker to client. Does it do a for each or anything? On tracker connected. Okay, here we go. So I send this, but what does that mean? This is a create on tracker connected P to send announce. Create session, create is server return. We are signaling server is ready. Signaling is ready. Send signaling data. We signal if local signal, if server signaling device, if signaling data, contacts app ID, but we broadcast that. Okay. And we get all that. That's fine. Send answer. Yeah, this is not as simple as we'd hoped. The alternative is to ask my friend in. Hi again. We are looking at some really complex bullshit, which is just how sometimes we just lock in and we get it done. So on request, params, WebSockets, attachment sockets, in response. So common actions connect. Common actions that scrape. Invalid option. On scrape. We have all of this. Then x2 bin hash. Is this on the same? It is. It's on the same. What is get swarm? We don't care about the swarm, do we? I think we want to know about this script, this object here, and to do that, we have to go through the right channels. So we do this. The same though. And then console.log heard scrape response. I don't think that's going to happen, but you never know. All right, connect. Was it create? I didn't hear any scraping going on. So let's try that. Pretty sure that the WSS was the correct, right? Oh, I put HTTP? I did not put HTTP on there. No way I did that. I did. WSS. Do that. That would help a lot. Did we hear a scrape? We heard a scrape, baby. Oh boy, we heard a scrape. Everyone's like, what the fuck is scrape? Like, what do we care? I'll tell you why we care. Because it's cool. It's cool, alright? It's cool. We're looking for it here. Response. That is going to be wild if that works. So we'll do that and we'll try again. I don't think we have to restart that, but we will. Okay, here we go. Create. There it is. Fucking A. Holy shit. Now, when I join, I will hear it as well, but a little bit different. Incomplete 2. Those are all my boys in the swarm. But what else? Where's the other data, friends? We announce all of these. So we're basically announcing a file, is that right? So we heard it down here. Do we ever... Swarm? Are we looking for a swarm? It's such a strange paradigm. What does scrape mean? That would probably have been a good thing to understand before I jumped in here. It's announcing it regularly? It's this. Okay, that makes sense. So now it's just peers. But how do they... How do they announce a separate file? Response set files. Okay, here we go. So we don't care about the console.log for this. But we do care about the files, right? So we're indexing into our files. Andrew, you opened a software question. I'm trying to get the perspective of people getting... yeah, no, I can answer any question. We're here mostly for Q&A tonight. I am working on something, but it's not important. So ask away. I will try my best to answer. That is always how I operate. In fact, I usually just answer questions. That's usually what I'm doing. I'm actually a little different today. I will try to help. Okay. Been doing research trying to get into creating new cyber laws. Section 230. That's an interesting question. No, it sounds like a legal. Yeah, I mean, cyber laws is legal stuff. So you want to tell me about it? Could be a interesting thing to get into to be invested in these days. You know, it's going to be a lot of open questions with what's going on. It's written in 1973. Shield social media companies by the content. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Then I'm definitely familiar with the concept. I didn't know what it was called, but yes, that is interesting. It feels like, in principle, something that is good, but I don't know. Current social media, they hide behind 230. They use as a choice. Yeah. Or TOS even exist? Well, TOS and usage is going to be a completely different um, paradigm from what's legally they're allowed to do, right? I mean, they're responsible for what's on their platform in some ways. And hiding on it, I mean, I don't know about the age of the law having any bearing on whether it's, I don't know, hiding behind to just make them a complicit instead of being in a platform. But malicious things published not even from users or through advertisements, sponsored posts. Yeah, yeah. A little Wild West, isn't it? How liable are social media companies? Somebody may want to take them to task, yes. I don't know that that would be very successful. But I'm sure as hell glad I'm not liable for whatever y'all fuckers say on here. Haha. I'm only liable in terms of TOS and keeping my chat in line. But I'm not liable legally for whatever y'all choose to say. So I think I would support the current paradigm. Even as but I'm a small case, right? Like I'm running a platform here in a way. But I wonder what the idea is. What's the idea? Okay, so we have object keys. Torrents. How passwords are created when a password is being made. It's like it's weak and someone isn't allowed to even create it. When you go on Facebook, you see users they call it $1,000 a free truck. They should do. You think they? When I did research on whether or not I could. I mean, you're absolutely at the mercy of whatever they say, right? So you've been looking to like create verification methods? I'm not really following the argument as well. Uh, Let's see here. What do we got here? We've got that's true. Weak password not allowed. I don't know. I don't know if there's a flat rule you can do that. Is a post title with a dollar sign illegal as well? Like a post title on Wall Street Bets? I think you're fighting a losing battle, regardless of whatever rule you cook up. I don't fight losing battles. I only fight battles I can win. I don't know. I think they look. You're just trying to codify into law moderation tools because moderation tools and how Facebook moderates its platform is already extremely controversial, and how Twitter moderates its platform is completely different than Blue Sky moderates its platform. So whatever set of rules you're trying to cook up is there's no one size fits all. Even stuff like free speech. I mean, eh, I don't know. I don't think so. I don't know. I don't think you can force any of these platforms to adopt a certain type of moderation. I mean, people want Kick to be more moderated too, and like Twitch and Kick have completely different ones. That's just funny, honestly. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm not a big fan of Zuckerberg and Meta, so hope they hope it bites them. But I will say their algorithms are pretty good, so I'm surprised they can't catch that stuff. I'm sure it's probably partially unwillingness rather than incompetence. And if they're unwilling to fix it, then yep, there's not a whole lot any of us can do because no one really. What on earth? Okay, so let's take a look at the client again. Hell yeah, I sign up for that in a heartbeat. Sounds like a good deal. I don't know, it's a wild west world out there. It's just there's only there's yeah, let me get something for you. You can. Mm, save image. Here, I'll just put this here for you. There you go. That's what you're up against. So you enjoy that, and then when you've read it, I can take it down for you. Clear? There's got to be a way to do this. I just need to like memory dump this stupid server every time. All right, let's look at this. On request. Params. I have no idea what's going on. All right, we go back to 2, right? We got 2. Create. Nowhere does that say anything about. What is this info? Peer ID. How does it know what to send? What? Info hash. Hello, hello. How's it going? The key in the code that would be used to. Okay, given. Let's see. I don't understand where. Oh, wait. It's right there. What's this? Am I blind? Woohoo, Godot! Wee! I love Godot. Woohoo! It's right fucking there. What the fuck? Context that get info hash. So all I have to do is the info hash. So let me rewind all this. All right. There we are. We're back at the start. Where the fuck is the context that hit info hash? What does this do? Invalid session. App ID and session ID for tracker usage. Session ID. What game am I making? I'm making a cute game about fishing. But I'm currently deep in the technical side of it because I was asked to make a Lavi system, and that brought me away from my fishing game. And here's the fishing game. So this is a multiplayer fishing game. We have 2 windows here, and I can host a game and join. There I am, and I'm falling in the water. This is going to run in a browser, and my viewers are going to be able to play with me. So if you are a viewer, you will be able to drop into the system with your name. Right now you have a number because we're just looking at peer IDs. And then you can pick up a fish. How do you like that fish? Oh my god, he's really freaking out over there. Okay. Well, I think maybe we didn't do that right. But then we can also fish. I haven't added the sound effects, but I can reel this in. And then I am going to get a fish on the line. I got a fish on the line. He's coming. He's coming. Then I throw him back. And I'll have people be able to sell the fish eventually too. I have like a buoyancy component, so my rod will allow me to go swimming. It's just a little bit. I can give the fishing rod to my friend, and he can use it. You can put it down. So yeah, that's what we're working on. Oh my god, a fish! Oh my god, oh my god, I better reel it! Oh my god! Come here, come back here, Reggie! I still have a rock. No, the fish fell through the world! Yeah, I'm trying to fix a bug where if you drop on a rock, it can go through the earth. Watch. Watch this rock. It's gonna go right through the earth when I jump on it. I promise. It's gone! Went right through the ground. I'm trying to figure out how to stop that from happening. So that's life. When we send get or create swarm info hash. So the problem is that yeah. Good-o. That was the fish game. But now we're working in fucking code. Oh, it sucks. I need a way to look up half of an info hash. Or I have to create my own custom bullshit, which is the least amount of fun I ever wanted to do. Why? Why? What's up? Yo, we just hanging. This guy's got AWS in his name. That's frightening. Okay. Create my own custom BS is even too far. It's too far off. Yep. I agree with you. That is why we get reset head and quit. Hey mate, watching your tutorials currently. Awesome. Tide Hunter. It's a great name. I'm glad you're enjoying them. One thing I wanted to test out here was the kick function. Host game. Host. Join game. Refresh list. Join. All right. Can I kick you? You were kicked. Close. Join game. Ah, he's back. Brutal. Savage. Wrecked. Kick him again. Oh, I can ban him. You were banned. Oh my lord. That hurts. Oh my god. I'm actually banned. Yes, we work on a it's still client authority, but I'm adding a moderation tool. I have borrowed a system from a friend, and they have provided me a way to moderate my lobby. So that will be useful in the future. Would it be published? I mean, sort of. We're gonna publish as much as we can. So what I end up doing is I go and learn it, and then I go and fix it up, and then I go and share it with all of you. So that's the process. We go and fix it, make it good. The problem is that all that fish stuff that you just saw, it's a little rough around the edges. So we publish a lot. I give as much away, but I want to make sure that it's simple enough for everyone to understand. And to do that, sometimes I have to like go through a couple of iterations. Because if you look at this fishing rod, it's got like submerged, depth, line position, if hooked, and it's very complicated. It's very like manual. What's up, Spaghetti? Sup, Darg? So the fishing rod itself needs a big rework, and we need the concept of tools or wieldables. So we're thinking about how we're going to have that work. But you know, we can fish a little bit. But the problem is like this is just a pickup item. Like I can drop that and put it down, and it's still fishing, which is realistic, I guess. Now it's on the line, and then I would have the I need to have the fish try to get away, and it's kind of breaking this physics object. And the way we throw objects and stuff is pretty inconsistent as well. I ended up using your multiplayer to play a group driving game, trying to build the environment up slowly to make it more interesting to play. Interesting, yeah, that could work. Driving, yeah, that's fun. Environments are pretty fun to make. Like I enjoy like I made this environment with the like sunset and the lake, and it's very plain because I had some issues with proton scatter. Um, I don't know what's going on with it. But yeah, I do like these moderation tools. These are useful for me. We host a game, and then we create a server. This search server, what is this? This is interesting. What is the search server? It's a UDP server. Interesting. Well, that's not what we want. It might be all right. Oh my God, it's 11:18. All right, folks, get your questions in now because it is late on the East Coast here. So we are going to be retiring for the evening. Please let me know what you want to know because we will be back. We will be back this week. We will be back this weekend. This week, I'm going to be working on this fishing game. I'm going to make it so that chat can join. I was just looking at this eNet multiplayer peer that we need to replace with our WebRTC implementation, probably, so that we can play in browser, the whole thing. So, there's some different options there. But yes, it is late, so we are gonna call it. Wrap it up here. GG's, keep the content you got away, making this more intimidating and confusing stuff easy enough for a guy like me to digest. I appreciate it. Yes, I appreciate you. Thank you for coming in and sharing your experiences and giving some good feedback. We're gonna keep making this stuff. We've slowed down a little bit on the content because of job. So I've got a little bit of a backlog at work. This summer has started to get a little busy, so when I get some free time, which is hopefully soon, I will make some more stuff, but I'll come here and make some stuff for the stream. Moving from UE to Godot would have been a nightmare without this. Yes, so you can make games more lightweight. Unreal Engine is a little bit bigger, a little bit different, still good in different ways, but I'm enjoying Godot. I hope you enjoy Godot. I hope you have fun with it. And there's some nice things about the Godot multiplayer. There's lots of different ways to do it. The way that we do it is not the only one. It runs on my bathroom laptop. That is something to say for sure. I enjoy that. Uh, so you can do anything with Godot. You can run it in your tub, apparently. But yeah, I'm with you guys. I'm enjoying it. I'm loving it. I got to do a game jam, so that's kind of like got me back in the swing a little bit, got me back working on this stuff. And yeah, as long as have energy after work, we'll be back. Yeah, I get that level, I get that locked in, that bathroom locked in. That's crazy. Well, good luck with y'all's games. Like I said, I will be back later. Good night.